All right, we here, man. Urban artificial intelligence, strategic thinking media platform, man. Look, hey, before I get into this episode, I want to say I had a great show planned for today. Last night I went live. I had some technical difficulties. I was having a really good show about 30 minutes in pertaining to the Joe Budden podcast, some things that was going on with him and Queen's Flip that was real interesting. It was real interesting, man. And I had got some more information about it, and I planned to get into that today. And because anytime I'm going live and something like that happens, whether I have to stop, I have other things going on, or I have to cut a live short, or if I'm having technical difficulties or whatever the case may be, um I use that as an opportunity to get more information and have a better show the next day. All right. So that's what I did. I got a little bit more information, and I plan to have a better show today around this time. Once I got off, I was gonna go live about Joe Budden and Queen's Flip, but but some other things happened. All right. Now y'all know I've been saying that Kendrick and Drake is not over. I've been one of the people saying that. Right after Not Like Us dropped, I think that people still may think this, that this is just a regular rap. This is just a regular rap battle. Y'all, it's not. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. This is not a regular rap battle, y'all. This is different for a whole lot of reasons. All right. Some of those reasons I got into, some of those reasons I spoke about in the series. I have a whole Kendrick versus Drake is not over series because people was so fixated on basically saying, well, you're only saying that because you want Drake to win. You're trying to drag it out so Drake could drop a banger or Drake could do something and then you could say he won. No, that wasn't the case. That wasn't how it was coming. That wasn't my angle. That wasn't my point of view. Um, Louis, man, bruh. hey, we might have to do something about this, bro. We might have to do another show, bro. We might have to do another show because it's a lot here. It's a lot. It's a whole lot here, man. But shout out to Louis Reacts, man. Go follow him, subscribe. He make a lot of great content, man. He make a lot of great content, and Louis is somebody who he knows exactly the point, the angle that I'm coming from. Me and him talk about Kendrick and Drake all the time, and I've said it wasn't over for a while. Now, a couple of things happened concerning Kendrick and Drake today while I was at work, which is why I'm not going to talk about the Queen's Flip and the Joe Budden stuff until later tonight, probably. Now, what happened? Okay, the first thing we're going to get into now, before we get into anything, let me say, go watch this. What's the Dirt? Go watch this. The Kendrick 616 in LA diss actually explained. It blew me away. I'm gonna be real, it blew me away. I didn't watch the whole hour, but I'm gonna react to this. I'm gonna talk about some things that's here. Some of the things, let me say, some of the things I agree with. Some of them I don't. However, this is a good interpretation of what's going on with Kendrick and Drake, and it's a good example of how deep this beef is. Okay, that's another thing, man. A lot of people thought when we look back at beefs in the past, right? Hip hop beefs in the past, they kind of come and they go quickly. They come and they go quickly. They end with the song. Remember, and I use Tupac and Biggie and Jay-Z and Nas because those are the two most popular beefs. So I use them a lot. Biggie and Jay-Z and Nas, right? When Ether dropped, People felt like it was over at that point. It ended quickly. It ended abruptly. Any beef that we want to talk about, they ended quickly. They ended abruptly. 50 Cent, Ja Rule. We heard a song that we liked. We heard a song that we thought bodied the other person, and it ended quickly. That was it. That's the end of it. Okay. Unfortunately, with Tupac and Biggie, Tupac ended up losing his life before Biggie did. However, that was going down the same road. That was a little bit more neck and neck than 50 and Ja or Jay-Z and Nas. Okay, that would have kept going. Pac was dissing Biggie up until he died, seemingly. And, rightfully so. Of course, he wasn't, I don't think he was expecting to die. Nobody knows when they're going to die. Biggie was dissing him too. There was a couple songs that Biggie that came out after Tupac had passed, and Puffy was basically saying, "Oh no, it wasn't." I forgot which one it was, but it was one specifically where Puffy's like, "No, it wasn't about Tupac." Yes, it was. It was. It was about Tupac. It was just that Tupac had passed, and Puffy is the businessman that he is. He didn't want to make it look like that. Either way, the reason that I'm going down that road is just to show y'all how, and you can think any beef, even recent beefs, the Chris Brown and Quavo beef. It came, they dropped their songs, it's gone. Right? Any beef that y'all can think of, they kind of come, the guys drop songs, it may linger around for a little bit, then it's gone. This is different, y'all. This is nothing like those beefs. I've said it over and over again. There's never been a rap beef that was brewing for 13 years before direct shots were taken. Look it up. If I'm wrong about this, let me know. Y'all tell me a beef that the artists exchanged shots for 13, 12, 11, however you want to say, 10 plus years, and it had that much depth behind it. Like I said before, and I'm gonna get into this in a minute, but I just have to lay the groundwork again. Y'all know how I do. Biggie and Pac. It was about Faith Evans. It was over a female. That wasn't all of it, but that was the main issue, or that's what we remember from the diss. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. When we heard, oh, Tupac fucked Faith, the same with Jay-Z and Nas. Jay-Z leaving condoms in your baby seat. That's not all we have in common. Or Carmen, or however he pronounced it, as Nas' baby mother. Oh, Jay-Z fucked Nas' baby mama. Wow, blah, blah, blah. Those aren't deep issues, y'all. It seemed like it at the time. It seemed like a rapper fucking another rapper girl that he beefing with was like a huge thing. That's nowhere near. If those beefs over bitches, those are like a pool. Those are like a pool in a park or in somebody's house. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar is an ocean. Do y'all understand what I'm saying by that? It's so many things, and we're gonna see today. And I'm not the only one saying this. Go to YouTube and type in Kendrick versus Drake. Look at how many angles that you're gonna see. We cannot simply have this type of depth talk about any other beef in the history of hip hop, because it doesn't exist. It's never been a beef to this level. But let me stop talking. I'm gonna keep talking, but let me get to it. The first thing I want to look at before we get to what's the dirt. This is almost an hour. I can't look at this whole thing, y'all. I simply don't have the time. But I will break down the majority of it, and I'm gonna react to the majority of it. Today, or I don't know if it was today or yesterday, I be getting my days mixed up. Rick Ross was pressed by OVO affiliates. Now, what I'm hearing is this was press of people. So let's just get to that first. Now, I don't know if this was specifically Pressa's people or fans of Pressa or affiliates or whatever. I don't know. However, that got on Rick Ross' ass. Okay, and I'm a big fan of Rick Ross, man. I actually am kind of upset that they're beefing because Rick Ross and Drake make incredible music. They make incredible music. Free Spirit is it's probably in my top 15 songs of all time. I listen to Free Spirit probably once a month. That song came out at a time in my life where a lot was going on for me. So that song has sentimental value for me. Free Spirit is one of my favorite songs of all time. So I just want to say that first. We're gonna lose great music with these two guys beefing because they have multiple classics. I don't gotta run them down. I don't gotta name them. Y'all know them. I'm just Free Spirit. When I hear that song, I get I feel a type of way now because we're not gonna never hear nothing like that again. But let's take a look. Rick Ross in Vancouver. These niggas wasn't playing. This is what I'm talking about. This is a deep beef, y'all. This is not a regular rap beef. Look at this nigga here. That nigga said, layback music. They laid that nigga out. Look at this. Look, y'all. Just look at the screen. This is Kendrick versus Drake, man. And y'all thought this was over? Look at this. Do he think the beef over? When they woke him up, when he came to, did he think the beef is over? This is nowhere near over, y'all. I'm telling you, this is a historic moment in hip-hop. And I don't know who this man is. I'm not picking on this man. I'm not making fun of him getting knocked out. It happens to the best of us. I know killers who have been knocked out before. It happens. The reason that I'm pausing it here is just to emphasize how this is nowhere near over. People are emotionally invested in this. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the words that I'm looking for. People are emotionally invested in this. Justin, the guy's gonna die. He's gonna fucking die. I don't know. He's gonna die though. Yo, getting picked up like a newborn baby is crazy. Why they grabbing this nigga? Did y'all see that? Why they grabbing this nigga after he knocked out? This nigga tried to grab his legs. Okay, man, and I want to say something. Why even Sam Sneak? I don't know if that's Sam Sneak there. Yeah, that was. This is Sam Sneak here, Rick Ross DJ. This man has too much money, y'all, to be fighting in the streets like this, man. And I'm not saying that money is everything, but this is a legendary DJ, man. This is a legendary Miami DJ. He should not be in the streets brawling like this. What? I need more details on this. I see security. They don't have enough. Rick Ross, I don't know if you just kind of got a big head, if you got fully stuff. Look at where Rick Ross is in this, y'all. Why are you surrounded by this many people, dog? Why are they closing in on you like hyenas, bro? For you to even be in this situation is a problem. Okay, I think I see the issue. Do y'all hear Not Like Us playing in the background? Now, it's possible So that's where this started. Listen, I don't know if Not Like Us wasn't playing. I can't say for sure if this would have happened. I don't know if this would have happened if Not Like Us was playing. But I'm gonna say this: that song is triggering for anybody in Canada. I can tell you that now. For anybody who it's almost triggering for Drake fans, period. You know, I'm a music lover. I love listening to good music. And I'm not gonna say it's triggering to me, but I will say it definitely stirs my fandom emotions. I can put it that way. It stirs my fandom emotions because I'm still not okay with somebody calling somebody a certified PDF file if there's no proof. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna fight niggas in the streets over Kendrick and Drake. No, no, I would never. Well, I mean, I would fight somebody if, you know, I would defend myself, but I'm not gonna hear Not Like Us and try to fight Sam Sneak and Rick Ross. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that is such a touchy area that you're going into. When you talk like that about people, it evokes emotion. It evokes raw emotion. Okay. And that song being played is what started this, y'all. Again, I'm not saying if Rick Ross, if that song wasn't playing, I don't know what would have happened to Rick Ross. I'm not Nostradamus. I can't tell the future. I'm not trying to seem like I'm just some smart dude who know it all, because I'm not. But what I'm saying is Rick Ross being in Canada, surrounded by this many people, it Not Like Us is not the song to play at the time. Y'all see, as soon as the A minor as soon as the A minor part dropped, a nigga got punched. Let's watch that again. Listen, man, did y'all see that? This nigga punched Rick Ross in the face. Dog. Nobody should be that comfortable punching Rick Ross like that. I don't care unless you Drake daddy or another man in Drake family. You should not feel that comfortable punching Rick Ross in his shit. Okay, Rick Ross can't. I don't think Rick Ross can fight. Just from looking at this, like I said, it could be he's been so far removed from street brawling that but it looks like he can't fight. He's letting people get too close to him. He's letting people get all up in his face. Look at how close this nigga is, man. I'm a regular dude. And when I'm arguing with somebody, they're not gonna get that close to me. So if you Rick Ross, you should look. Look at that. Look at that. That's too close. Rick Ross. A nigga should never be all in your grill like that. It was the A minor part, y'all. And just look at this scenery. Look at the optics of this. Not Like Us is playing. in Canada and Rick Ross and Sam Sneak fighting for their lives. Yo, a movie could not have the script. A movie could not have the script. And listen, I'm excited, and I sound excited because I love hip hop. I'm glad nobody was hurt. I'm glad there were no guns involved. If niggas get knocked out and punch each other and knuckle up over rap beef, I'm fine with that. I'm gonna laugh at it because it's funny. But I'm glad it didn't go any further. I'm just saying, pay attention to the optics. Rick Ross in Canada, him and Sam Sneak fighting while Not Like Us is playing. Again, a movie could not write this script, y'all. This is crazy. Thank you, DJ, for turning that off. Niggas should have been cut that song off. Look, niggas stop playing. Niggas start playing Dreams and Nightmares intro. Hey, I just want to point this out. Do y'all see him on the ground getting pummeled by? Hey, these and no disrespect to anybody in Canada. From this video, y'all punch very soft. It's 3 people punching one man. This nigga's taking a Colin Kaepernick knee during all of this whole assault. He's not budging. Okay, that nigga's big as fuck. Okay, now that he stood up, I see it. Yeah, that nigga's huge. What's up, dog? But nah, I got that Not Like Us to Dreams and Nightmares transition. That's crazy. Hold up, man. I gotta run that back. Look at that transition. Oh my God, this is crazy. What's up, dog? You're in our fucking city. What's up? What's up? Every day I'm hustling. Wow. You press us in our fucking city, nigga. What's up? Hey, Rick Ross. You look, Rick Ross. You got to stop acting like you're gonna fight, bro. Throughout this whole video, Rick Ross has been like posturing, pulling his pants up. I have not seen him throw one punch. You the star, you the millionaire. We get it, man. Leave. I know you want to be there for your people. If you the leader, leave. Maybe they'll follow you, but stop acting like you about to fight. This is the second or third time I've seen you posture like you was about to fight, and I have yet to see one punch thrown by Rick Ross. Did y'all see Rick Ross just leave? I don't think y'all seen it. Look at Rick Ross in the back. Look at y'all see Rick Ross right there? This nigga about to vanish. Watch. Keep your eyes on him. Look, that nigga said, I'm gone, boy. See, I think that Sam Sneak right. Is it a blunt in his mouth? Oh my God. Yo, if you're with Rick Ross's entourage, right there when he left, that's when you leave. You're gonna want to walk backwards. You can talk shit. Have your hands up. Have your hands up. Back up. Talk shit, but keep your hands up. Once he, let's look at it again, cause that nigga slipped out that bitch so smooth. Keep your eyes on him, cause you're gonna see him. Look, y'all see Rick Ross right there. Pay attention. Keep your eyes on him. Gone. I'm out. I'm out. That's him right there. Now y'all see it. That's him right there. So he was right there. Within a matter of seconds, that nigga said, I'm gone. Y'all, guys, that's when y'all start making y'all way to the exit as well. That's when y'all was supposed to start making y'all way to the exit as well. Crazy. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. I've never seen nothing like this, man. I've never seen no hip hop beef like this. It's 30 more seconds of the video out there. Okay, we already seen Buddy get relaxed. Look, laid back music. He laid back, man. That boy is relaxed. He is absolutely sleep. He is 100% sleeping. Now, I don't know what's gonna happen after this. Rick Ross posted some stuff. Let's see if we can find that. Cause we're gonna get to this. What's the dirt? Cause this is crazy too, y'all. This is crazy too. So let's look at some Rick Ross stuff from DJ Academics. Okay, what is this? What is this?
Woman, you're the one I adore. Happy Canada Day. See, I'm rapping still. Happy Canada Day to everybody. Cheers, man. Cheers to the whole country. Our day today. Sun's out. Enjoy it. Enjoy.
Okay. So
Boy, African woman, you're the one I adore. Happy Canada Day.
man, okay, so maybe that has something to do with the situation. It was Canada Day. And DJ Academics post OVO enforcer Chubbs laugh and Drake's likes post about Rick Ross beatdown. Apparently it was Canada Day that Ross went to Canada and Not Like Us played. All right, so it being Canada Day and that record playing, I don't know, man. I don't know. And this here, the video that we just watched, and that is Chubbs laughing at it right there. If y'all can see that, that's Chubbs laughing. So he commented on that post from a well-known Toronto blog. What is this? Rick Ross reacts to Drake calling his baby mama Tia Kemp the GOAT. He calls Drake's a pedo and his baby mama a great. Wow. Drake, yo, this is going too far. Tia Kemp, and again, salute to my boy Louis Links, man. Salute to my dog Louis Links. Louis Links go to his page. He got some Tia Kemp content that's crazy. He got some Tia Kemp and Charleston White content that's crazy. So again, salute to my boy Louis. Tia Kemp has been in the social media light a lot lately. Salute to that boy Louis. He got some good content about her. She's super funny, man. So salute to the boy Louis. Go to his page and check out his Tia Kemp content because his videos is going crazy, man. He's running up the numbers, going crazy, man. But look at this nigga. Okay, so she said Drake under his post, and then he replied Tia Kemp with a star eye emoji, a heart emoji, and it says my GOAT. Obviously, Tia Kemp is Rick Ross' baby mother. I wouldn't be surprised if Drake fucks Tia Kemp. To be honest, to be 100% honest, if I was Drake, I would fuck Tia Kemp. If it was really like that, if it was really up between me and Rick Ross, that I would do it. If I was Drake, I would have to. I would have no other choice. And Rick Ross responded, pedo versus granny. This shit is crazy, man. This is unbelievable, man. This is crazy. And what makes this so crazy is how close and how cool these two used to be, man. This is unbelievable. I didn't see that until just now. This is it again. Drake calls Rick Ross baby mama his GOAT on his new post. People do like her, though. People do like her. People do like her. Like I said, go holler at the boy Louis. He got a lot of her content on his page, and y'all will see she has a infectious kind of personality. I find myself just watching her stuff. People like this lady, man. And that, I guess that's unfortunate for Rick Ross. That's his baby mama. They've been back and forth. But go to Louis' page and check out. He got some good content on her too. But people like her, man. People like this lady. So clearly Drake does too, all right? And this is what, let's see what 50 had to say.
Hey guys, I just saw a very unfortunate situation that took place in Canada. And I wanted to say to everyone, that I hope that brother made it home safely. I hope that he now has a different perspective and a better sense of what to do and what not to do while you're out in the world. That part where the young guy went like, he did this little move and shit and got knocked the fuck out like right there. That does not reflect him. That reflects his camp, and he might need to go get the Dream Chasers or the 305 Killers. Hey guys, I just saw
I know he's everything that happened with Rick Ross. He gonna have something to say about it. 50 is gonna have something to say about it, man. Now, this is how. Okay, what is this? Is this got it? And look at, and I want to ask y'all this question too. This is a good question by DJ Academics. The caption says Drake likes the video of Rick Ross squabbling with Vancouver Demons. Should rappers fall back off playing Not Like Us in the country of Canada? Probably for a while. I would say probably for a while, unless you're surrounded by Kendrick fans. If you're in the club, right, and you're just a regular DJ in the club, in the Canada scene, whether you're from Canada or not, and I've never been to Canada. I can't speak on, I can't tell Canadians what to do in Canada. But like I said before, this song draws a lot of emotion out of people, okay? This hip hop beef. This is what I want to say about this. This is the most hands-on hip hop beef involving fans that I've ever seen. I have a coworker. Me and this dude talk about this beef every single day since it happened. Me and this dude talk about this beef every single day. Every day we see each other, we don't say hey, we don't say what's up, we don't give each other dap, we don't ask about each other's family, we don't ask nothing. We, as soon as we see each other, we start talking about Kendrick and Drake. We're not the only ones who do that. That's not exclusive to just us. We're not the only ones who do that. This is a beef that has infiltrated into the actual hip hop community. That's why I feel as long as no one dies, this is going to be the best. Great, it's already the greatest hip hop beef of all time. But you know, and like I said, I don't want people getting knocked out either, or going to jail or anything like that. I don't want none of that to happen. As long as it stays like this, it's gonna be amazing. Like I said, and I use that example about me and my coworker because, like I said, we're not. This is another thing that I'm trying to say, and I touched on this before. No other beef you can even do that with. Since the beef started, me and this nigga talk about it every day. No other beef has that much substance. That's what I'm trying to say. No other hip hop beef has that much substance. If an alien came down out of the sky right now, right? An alien came out of the sky, walked into your crib, walked up on you, walked up to you at Starbucks and said, explain to me the Tupac and Biggie beef. You could explain it to him in a couple minutes. If the alien said, explain to me the Jay-Z and Nas beef, you could explain it to him in a couple minutes. Okay? If the alien said, explain to me the Jadakiss and Benny Siegel diss, the Jadakiss and Benny Siegel beef, you could explain it to him in a couple minutes. If the alien said, explain to me the 50 Cent and Ja Rule beef, you could explain it in a couple seconds. It could be a brief discussion. If the alien said, explain to me the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, you would tell the alien, sit down. Let's order something. Sit down, and I'm gonna explain. That's just when you compare this to other beefs, it's nowhere near as much substance. It's nowhere near as much depth. And not only that, the bars back it up. Speaking of bars, let's just get right into it. And this is King, and this is DJ Academics talking about Mike Knox. But you know what? Let's just get right into it, man. This is an incredible video. And hey, and just by the way, I ain't like seeing this, man. People, I got some Gunna, and again, Louis, my boy, Louis Links. This is what we need to talk about too, bro. This is what we need to talk about too, man. This is what we need to talk about too. Salute Louis if you're watching. I know you're gonna catch the replay if you're not watching now. This is something that we need to talk about. Louis Reacts. Go check out his page, man. He running it up. We need to talk about Gunna, man, and a couple other things surrounding him. But I'm gonna put it to y'all this way, real quick. I'm gonna touch on this. You can say whatever you want about Gunna. Gunna music is so good. People don't care about anything that he's done involving the police. Yes, he cooperated with the police. Is that technically snitching? Yes, it is. He took an Alfred plea. So he did cooperate with the police. However, it's a unique situation because the person who he cooperated against, Young Thug, has yet to denounce him. Not only has he not denounced Gunna, Gunna has made him a lot of money. Gunna is an asset to YSL. Say what you want about the street stuff. Gunna is an asset to YSL. Gunna's last 2 albums has generated millions of dollars for YSL. Do y'all understand that? Do y'all understand when your music sounds as good as Gunna? I'm not gonna say you can snitch, but when you're let me not say that. When you're a valuable asset as what Gunna is to Young Thug, and that's all we care about, right? When you cooperate with the police, who do people feel sorry for? The person that you told on. So if the person that you told on, if you're helping them more than you hurt them, which that could be a possibility, y'all. I feel like I don't know how important Gunna saying yes ma'am was. Am I copping pleas for Gunna? No. He cooperated with the police. I'm not one of the people that's gonna say, well, he didn't really snitch. He cooperated with the police. He cooperated with the police. So that is technically snitching. However, if he didn't, do y'all think Young Thug will be out? Probably not. But guess what I do know? If Gunna was still locked up, would there be any fuck you mean? I know for a fact it wouldn't. Would there be any 101 bitches they 10? 101 never again? No. He'd still be in jail, y'all. So I'm going to break that down for y'all one more time. If Gunna did not snitch, would that have helped Young Thug? Maybe, maybe not. If Gunna had not snitched, would he have been able to drop? I almost said the C word. The single fuck you mean is a classic. If he was locked up, he would not have been able to drop those albums. The 101 album and the Gift and the Curse album. I think the Gift and the Curse is a classic. It's an incredible album. 101 is a good, solid album. Again, if he didn't tell, he would probably still be locked up. Maybe not now, but he wouldn't have been locked up he wouldn't have been free when those albums dropped. That's what I'm saying. Those albums generated millions of dollars for Young Thug. So if you run up on Gunna, you need to do something. If you run up on him and say, oh, you're right, you're a snitch. And I'm not encouraging that. I don't want nobody to hurt Gunna. I'm a fan of his music. He seems like a good person. Don't hurt Gunna, please. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you just run up and call him a snitch, you look whack. You look whack because the person who he told on, their bank account, you know what I'm saying? Their bank account doesn't have a problem with Gunna telling. That's all I'm saying. So the only person who really matters is Young Thug. Okay? The albums that Gunna dropped generated millions of dollars for Young Thug. I guarantee they did. So like I said, you may call him a snitch. Me and you may call him a snitch. I don't know if Young Thug's bank account will call him a snitch. Young Thug's bank account still calls him slime. Y'all get what I'm saying? Okay, cool. I just wanted to touch on that. Now, back to Kendrick and Drake. Me and Louis gonna take a deeper dive into that though. Believe you me. All right. So, what's the dirt? This is actually that same coworker that I'm talking about. He told me about this. He told me to watch it. I seen a tweet about this. I had no idea how deep this is, y'all. And like I said, this is 55 minutes. So we're not gonna do the whole thing, but we are gonna touch on it. So let's just get into it, man. Let's just get into it.
Good insight into where we're at in the beef up to this point. And I promised my nephew I'd do this, so huge shout out to Marty
Marty wants to be a YouTuber someday, and if he wants, 3 days later.
Okay, where he go?
Does it? So before we even begin, we have to take a close look at the title of the track, as there's several meanings. First and foremost, the one that will jump out to any Drake fan is Kendrick's usage of the timestamp format. Drake is synonymous with timestamp titles, and it's on these records where he gets super big.
Okay, Do Not Disturb is not a timestamp. So I don't know why that's on the list, but I think I kind of do. It does kind of go with these. But man, these are some bangers. 7 a.m. My favorite one, 7 a.m. on Bridle Path, Do Not Disturb, at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. in Calabasas. And y'all know 4 p.m. in Calabasas is a Diddy diss. He's talking about Diddy that whole song. So if y'all didn't know, 4 p.m. in Calabasas is a Diddy diss. He take a couple shots at Kanye too, but that's a Diddy diss. And that's one of my favorite Drake songs, man.
Busy with the pen. Whenever someone tries to tell me that Drake can't rap, I'll always tell them, check out one of those records, then tell me that he can't rap. So this was a very strategic and petty angle from Kendrick as he attempts to taint Drake's long-running series. Even since this track dropped, we've seen multiple people claim that Kendrick's version of the timestamp was way better than any of Drake's, and this very well could have been Kendrick's goal. And let's be realistic, Drake still has by far the best timestamp records. Like he still lays claim to that. Now, as far as the other meanings behind this title, there are several theories bouncing around, but I'm going to give you guys the most significant meaning and truly break down why that is. It was on June 16th, 2011 that Kendrick met Drake for the very first time.
Okay, that's something that I didn't know. I didn't know that 616 was the first time that they met. So I'm gonna kind of move this forward a little bit and just so basically what the point of this video is saying is 616 in LA, the beginning, the first verse was Kendrick rapping through Drake's perspective. Why this is interesting is this is something that nobody else said. That's why this dude, What's the Dirt, is so popular. This has 810,000 views in 3 days. Nobody else has said that. I didn't think that. I did a breakdown of this and I thought Kendrick was talking about himself. Now, what I did do though, at the okay, where he says in the first verse, the dude, What's the Dirt, where he says in the first verse, Kendrick is talking about himself, that's where I started my breakdown. Because before that, I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Like, I didn't say what the fuck is he talking about, but it just seemed weird. It seemed weird. Like, that's why I didn't break none of that part down, because I quite didn't understand it. Maybe this is why, because he was speaking from Drake's perspective. Something that stood out to me when I first heard it was when he said, fuck a phantom, I buy yachts when I get the fever. I've never seen Kendrick talk about buying phantoms or yachts. So when he said that, I was like, what does this have to do with Drake? Like, what does this have to do with anything? This seems so out of character for Kendrick Lamar. So I didn't even speak on that part. This makes sense. That it makes sense that he was talking about this from Drake's perspective. Even me, a guy who researches lyrics and I research rap for this YouTube channel, I couldn't find a correlation. And this dude, What's the Dirt, seemingly has. So salute to him for that.
In a XXL magazine, Kendrick described the meeting saying, I did a show in Toronto on June 16th, my first show in Toronto. I think it was the same night we were going back to the hotel and he hit my phone. I guess he got the word that I was in town. He was there for the night working.
Okay, let's move this forward a little bit. We want to get to the lyrics. So that's just him talking about how he met Drake for the first time.
Last few lines is not Kendrick speaking to himself, but Drake having a conversation with Kendrick. And this is the part that's really important. When asked by XXL to explain the meaning of why the track ended like this, Kendrick said the following. At the end of the verse, that's him in the conversation. Him telling me that you must accept this lifestyle and it's up to you how far you're going to go with it or how much you're going to let in.
Now, I think they're talking about Drake's from the Take Care album. It's called Buried Alive intro. That's Kendrick Lamar. So let me rewind it a little. Yep, it's the Buried Alive intro. This Kendrick Lamar.
When you outside.
So he clearly says that's what he said. Now, who is he? Who's he talking about?
So dig a shovel full of money, full of power, full of pussy, full of fame, and bury yourself alive. Then I died.
What most people fail to realize is that these last few lines is not Kendrick speaking to himself, but Drake having a conversation with Kendrick. And this is the part that's really important. When asked by Double XL to explain the meaning of why the track ended like this, Kendrick said the following. At the end of the verse, that's him in the conversation. Him telling me that you must accept this lifestyle and it's up to you how far you're going to go with it or how much you're going to let in. I then acknowledge what he's saying when I say, then I died, which leaves it hanging on the audience trying to figure out where I would go with it. Will I let it taint me or destroy me? Or will I know how to deal with it?
Okay, do y'all see what I mean? No other rap beef has situations like this. These niggas literally in 2011, which a lot of people feel Take Care is Drake's best album. I think so too. Obviously a classic, one of the greatest albums of all time, in my opinion. Take Care is. If you like Drake, you know, that's how you're going to feel. I don't expect everybody to feel like that. The point is, do y'all understand how deep this goes? In 2011, Kendrick was on Drake's album rapping as Kendrick talking to Drake. How fucking crazy is that? The narrative now is that on 616 in LA, 14 years later, 13 years later, Kendrick does it again. Like I said, name me another rap beef that's this deep.
Or how much you're going to let in. I then acknowledge what he's saying when I say, then I died, which leaves it hanging on the audience trying to figure out where I would go with it. Will I let it taint me or destroy me? Or will I know how to deal with it? So, I mean, it's on this night, June 16th, where Drake is giving Kendrick a pep talk about fame, the industry, how to deal with it. This Buried Alive interlude is important because Drake gives Kendrick a choice. He tells him that fame will come and that it's up to him on how he deals with it. But the thing is, Kendrick wasn't the only person who needed to make this choice. This whole thing rings true for Drake as well because...
Okay, we got to move forward to the lyrics. I wish I could just sit through this whole thing because it really is that interesting, but we got to get to the lyrics.
Cased as a full-grown woman.
When I was about 13, I was really tall. I was like 5.
I don't like this. This makes me uncomfortable watching shit like this. I don't want to hear about young bitches, man. Let's get to the song.
Episode of that show aired on June 16th. And that's as far as I'm going to go with the title. There's a lot of theories out there, but
that's another thing too. And you see he's saying, not saying they aren't valid. That's all the ones he wanted to talk about. If you go type in 616 in LA, meaning a whole list of shit that has to do with 6 and 16 is going to pop up. A bunch of shit, way more than what he just named, way more than what I named when I broke it down. It's a bunch of shit.
These are the ones that make sense to me. With all that said, let's move on to the artwork, which is simply a cropped out version of the artwork that we would see on Meet the Grams.
All right, this is taking long as fuck, but I got to get into this too. Okay, let me let him finish first.
Where Kendrick allegedly had an inside mole collecting Drake's personal items and feeding him information. And this whole thing with the artwork and these items, like this turned into this really grew legs after. It turned into this whole other conversation.
Now say what really happened. What's the dirt? Don't do that. Say where the stuff came from and what was the meaning of the stuff on the album. Let's see if he keep it real.
So we've got the title, we've got the artwork. Now let's move to the beat selection.
Okay, nah, that nigga did not. He didn't. Let me just say it real quick. The things on the title, there was not a mole in Drake's camp. All that stuff on the cover art was from the nigga what's his name? Ebony God or Ebony Prince 2K.24. He worked at a hotel. He basically got all the shit out the trash. Drake was at the hotel. He either got it out the trash or out the lost and found. And he took pictures of it, and Kendrick used it as his cover art. Kendrick didn't know this nigga. He didn't work for Kendrick. He didn't know Kendrick or Drake. He was a nigga who worked at the hotel. Y'all can look it up, Google it. There was no connection to that man and Kendrick. So for people saying they were saying this, oh, it was a mole. It was a guy who worked for Kendrick. Kendrick was the puppet master.
Mole collecting Drake's personal items and feeding him information. And this whole thing.
It was a glove, a shirt, and some receipts. Why would I collect a nigga glove, his shirt, and some receipts? How was that incriminating information? Who needs that? That sounds like trash. That sounds like some shit Drake left behind at a hotel, which it was. The issue that came up, the reason that he revealed himself is because DJ Academic said the things were stolen. And the nigga Ebony Prince 2K.24 wanted to auction the stuff out, but he can't auction it out because DJ Academics was saying that it was stolen. That's what made him come to light. If DJ Academics would have never said it was stolen, he would have still had people thinking Kendrick was this mastermind, that he worked for Kendrick and he, secretly gathered up all this shit. And to me, it was weird because I was waiting for him to say what this stuff on the cover means. If y'all notice, the dude just skipped right over it. Kendrick never said what the cover meant because the cover didn't mean anything. Kendrick thought it was juicier than what it was. I'm not talking shit about Kendrick, y'all. I'm just saying people was making up their own. That was like, oh, the glove mean OJ. It's a murder because a murder's about that. Just making up shit. Just being fake deep and making up shit. That's not the case. The nigga Drake left all that shit at a hotel. The nigga knew it was Drake's. So he kept the stuff, but he got fired from his job because you can't do it. If I work at a hotel and Louis Links, the famous YouTuber, leave a bunch of stuff at a hotel, I just can't keep the shit. You know what I'm saying? I have to give it to my boss at the hotel. I just can't keep it.
Thing with the artwork and these items, like this turned into this really grew legs after it turned into this whole other conversation. So
it was definitely a whole other conversation. I don't know why he didn't get into it. Maybe he don't want to waste time like I'm doing now. But every time people bring up the artwork, I have to bring that up because people connect the artwork to Kendrick, there being a mole and Kendrick being this mastermind. No, that was a bunch of random shit. If you notice, none of that shit is important. None of that shit was important shit.
We've got the title, we've got the artwork. Now let's move to the beat selection. First and foremost, the track is co-produced by Jack Ananoff, who is a pop producer, is credited as playing guitar on that.
I also did a video about this. This dude, Mabantini Hodges, who's on the guitar, that's Drake's uncle. So this was strategic by Kendrick too. This is Drake's daddy's brother, all right, who was a guitarist for Marvin Gaye, Al Green. So the 616 sample does have music from Drake's uncle, which is crazy. That was a brilliant move. There go right there, Al Green. What a wonderful.
And now he's sampling Al Green, and they both had an album together called Back to Back Hits.
So yeah, that's that. But we need to get to the lyrics.
And as we know now, this drop turned out to have a hidden message that flew over all of our heads, as Drake will later announce that Kendrick's child might not be his.
I heard that one of them little kids might be day free.
And for that reason, I feel like it's on this track where Kendrick is using one of Drake's close producers to also send some sort of message. By using this little...
I didn't even see this. Did y'all just see that? Did y'all catch Boy Wonder? Now he's saying what a wonderful, but it does sound like Boy Wonder. God damn.
By using this little sample, I feel like Kendrick is trying to get inside Drake's head to cast doubt on who the mole could be in his camp. Drake commonly refers to himself as the boy, and in this case, I think Kendrick is asking Drake to think. Kendrick got the boy wondering, like, I wonder who's leaking all my info. I wonder who's the mole. Like, boy, I wonder who's doing all this shit.
It's survival.
So right off rip, Kendrick references Drake's track Survival. Now, Survival came at a time when Drake was fresh off his loss from Pusha T, and he was still heavily beefing with Pusha and Kanye at this time. As you guys remember, Drake allegedly had a career-ending red button diss for Pusha and Kanye, but he held it back, and it's on the Survival track where he appears to make mention to wanting to drop it.
I was about to, man, I thought about it. It's unsettling to talk about it.
So Drake leaves a blank in this record, and it's up to the listener to interpret what this could mean. But the way that I see it, he was either talking about putting a hit on Pusha and Kanye, or he just really wanted to drop that track, but it was so scathing that it was unsettling for him to even think about where he was about to go with it.
Simply because it crossed the line of music.
Either way, the common denominator.
Y'all know I don't think he was gonna put a hit out on anybody. I think he was gonna say something about Kim Kardashian. I think he was gonna either reveal that he fucked her or some other things about her. Cause I don't know what worse that Drake could do than what Pusha T done. I can't think of anything worse than that.
In this case, with respect to Kendrick, is the fact that Drake is now saying the exact same thing to him. Again, Drake is making claims that he has some lethal secret, threatening to drop it.
This ain't even everything I know, don't wake the demon up.
However, Kendrick's own senses are telling him that Drake is lying, as he claims that he thinks, smells, and sees the bullshit coming, and just like the alleged held back Pusha diss, Kendrick claims he sees no fire. I feel like he's saying, you were bullshitting then, now you're trying to pull the same stunt again. You're full of it.
Off-white Sunseeker had the marina. Fuck a phantom, I like to buy yachts when I get the fever.
Okay, here we go. Now we get into the lyrics. This is the part that confused me. I was like, why is Kendrick Lamar talking about phantoms and yachts? So I didn't even try to break down that part because I was confused.
So right away here, any seasoned Drake fan will tell you that when it comes to timestamp records, Kendrick is clearly matching Drake's subject matter stylistically.
Is there more to life than going on trips to Dubai? Yachts on the 4th of July, G5 soaring the skies. Roll big body, wild body, Calabasas, roll winder, sun shining, wax tires.
But here's the thing, I don't think Kendrick's rapping from his own perspective here at all. I think he's rapping as if he were Drake.
That's crazy, y'all. Cause listen where this is about to go. I would have never thought this.
13 years ago, Kendrick ended off the Buried Alive verse.
There you go. 13 years ago.
Speaking in the perspective of Drake, and I feel he's now circling back to do that again.
Off-white Sunseeker.
That is crazy, man.
Go ahead, the marina. Fuck a phantom, I like to buy yachts when I get the fever.
So, rapping in the perspective of Drake, he says Off-White Sunseeker. Now, this would be in reference to one of Drake's close friends, Virgil, who not only had the designer brand Off-White, but also during a 2022 Louis Vuitton fashion show, the background music for that show was an album by Tyler, the Creator, called Sunseeker. And this was Virgil's baby. This was his show. He directed it. And rest in peace to Virgil. Secondly, a Sunseeker.
Absolutely. Rest in peace to Virgil, man. That Virgil was that nigga, man.
At the marina is in reference to a company called Sunseeker, which is a builder of luxury yachts. But in the next line, things only get deeper. In the second line, Kendrick, from the perspective of Drake, claims that he's tired of buying phantoms and now likes to buy yachts when he gets the fever. First and foremost, you got to think about this. Kendrick does not rap about flaunting a lavish lifestyle.
Exactly. That's why I just skipped over that part, because I didn't understand why this nigga was talking about phantoms and yachts. It made no sense. This makes sense.
He doesn't own a yacht. He's not one for buying yachts. This is just so far outside of the subject matter in his music and what he represents. And that is because he is rapping as if he were Drake. I don't believe that this first chunk of the verse is from Kendrick's perspective at all. A Phantom is a model of car from Rolls-Royce that Drake not only owns multiple variations of, but he's mentioned the Phantom in at least 10 different tracks over the years, maybe even more.
Now I'm in the
Definitely more. Drake got one of the and I'm not gonna get too deep. Drake got one of the most rare Phantoms that you have.
Rose with illuminated angel. All my Rolls Royces got a different body. Facts. Bought a white ghost, now shit is getting spooky. Leg hanging out the Phantom.
However, Kendrick is painting it as if the Phantom is no longer scratching the itch for Drake. He needs to go bigger, which is exactly what he did when he rented the Ocean Corel yacht in 2022.
No one will say for sure how much Coral Ocean is worth, but I can tell you it's well north of $100 million.
When Drake rented this yacht, he was going all over the place. Like, he was traveling everywhere. Now, here's where things take a turn and get a lot darker. Following up on his previous line about yachts, he claims that he likes to buy yachts when he gets the fever, and the Fever is another builder of luxury yachts. Now, this is where it goes left. The Sunseeker has another line of yachts called the Predator, and as we know, Drake has a song called Teenage Fever. Now, where it gets crazy is when we look at Drake's relationship with Millie Bobby Brown. Here she is with Drake on a yacht at the young age of 13. This photo was taken in 2017, shortly after his More Life album dropped, which had the track Teenage Fever, and coincidentally enough, the media was categorizing the More Life album as yacht rap. Now, to put the cherry on top, where was this picture taken? At a marina. Think about it. Sunseeker has a yacht called the Predator. Drake's More Life album was being called yacht rap. It had a track called Teenage Fever. He's with a 13-year-old girl on a yacht, and in this picture, they're at a marina.
Listen, man. This shit is crazy. I'm not saying Drake is a predator. I'm just reacting to the video. Could this be true as far as Kendrick, what Kendrick is saying and how he's speaking as Drake? It's a good chance that this is true. I don't know how things would line up this perfectly if it's not true. Maybe this dude is just good at reaching. That could be true too, but I don't know.
This is not a coincidence at all. It's not. And Kendrick drops plenty of little clues here just in how he pronounces certain words. And if you pay attention to how he says, I like to buy yachts, he's actually making a reference to Dubai yachts.
Fuck a Phantom, I like to buy yachts when I get the fever. Is there more to life than going on trips to Dubai? Yachts on the 4th of July.
And back in 2015, Drake was very happy to announce that he was on a yacht in Dubai. And if you're familiar with Kendrick's catalog, you'll know that he does shit like this a lot in his writing.
Wine cooler spill on my white t-shirt, the sightseer.
So again, Kendrick is rapping as if he were Drake. Not only does Kendrick hardly ever drink, but when he does drink, it's exclusively wine.
Yeah, I drink a little bit.
What's your preferred beverage?
Just wine. Like Jesus.
What about, have you ever?
Now, there is a huge difference in wine and wine coolers. Most men do not drink wine coolers. I'm talking about fruity drinks with soda and tons of sugar. Kendrick uses little keywords like this to let the listener know that this is not his life we're talking about. Kendrick's not drinking wine coolers, guys.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's another. When he said wine, I couldn't even imagine Kendrick Lamar drinking. That image of Kendrick Lamar drinking a wine cooler, it again. That's why when I did the breakdown, I skipped over this part.
Drake is the guy that loves wine coolers. That's pretty much all he drinks. And what's even more interesting is how wine coolers became his beverage of choice in the first place.
Were you drinking white wine spritzer?
I was. That's my drink of choice. It's basically my mother had.
Yo, being a man and a white wine spritzer being your drink of choice, that's crazy.
I had a friend who I was always sort of like infatuated with. We used to go to her house and be poolside, and she used to like fill up a white wine spritzer and she would like casually slide it and leave it there, and then she'd just show up with another one, and I always felt like she was trying to send me a message. So I've kept that a consistent theme. How we get it?
Of course she was trying to send. That's completely inappropriate.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I don't know, like 15. But so I've kept that a consistent theme.
And take a good guess at who else loves wine coolers. Teenage girls, right? And coincidentally enough, with respect to this line, a 17-year-old Madison Beer attended Drake's Memorial Day party in 2016, and she shared the following story.
I met him actually like 2 years ago at his Memorial Day party. Funniest thing about Drake is he drinks wine spritzers. Like, that's all he drinks. I was like, can we go to the bathroom? And you're
nigga, that can I hope that's not all he drank. I hope that's not all he drank.
Room. I was like, I just really don't want to wait on this line. And he was like, yeah, of course. And this girl had like a vodka cranberry or something in her hand, and she tripped and fell. And
again, man, I just want to say, there are no victims. I don't like even talking about Drake being with young females. There are no victims. I get it as part of the video, but that's just not my style, man. When you call somebody a predator, you need to have facts.
Spilled all over Drake, like all over his like white sweatsuit.
At this point in time, Madison had just turned 17 2 months prior. And this only acts as further proof that Drake seems to allow much younger girls at his parties. Madison claims that Drake loves wine coolers and then states that someone spilt the drink all over his white outfit. Kendrick seems to have been gathering this information about Drake for a very long time. And on this track, I feel like he's sending subtle reminders that most of us wouldn't catch.
Fun fact though, his house that he has a bathtub that is literally the size of this room. And it's gigantic and so dope. I was like sitting in it. I was like, can I just lay here and like chill?
I even found some footage of this exact Drake Memorial Day party where you can tell that the women in attendance, to me, don't really look like grown women. I mean, come on, God.
Don't say that, man. Don't say the women don't look grown. You don't know their age, man. Come on, dog.
I was like, I'm a fair man, but like, I'm not even assuming here. Like, these are clearly teenagers, right?
I don't agree with that. You can't look at somebody and say they're clearly a teenager. I don't agree with that.
And when he talks about wine coolers, he's talking about shit like this. Following up on the previous line, Kendrick writes for Drake by calling himself a sightseer, which is exactly what Drake was doing in 2022 when he rented that $50 million yacht. Here he is in St. Bart's at a New Year's Eve yacht party, and what we can easily conclude about this party is that teenage girls were definitely in attendance because there's clear evidence of this happening.
I got back from St. Bart's on Monday. Basically, it was an after party that we got invited to. It was on the Vava. So many cool people there. We talked with Drake for a little bit.
This girl was born on February 5th, 2004, which would mean she was only 17 years old during this yacht party.
I was just in St. Bart's with Drake and 150 supermodels in it.
And I think that Kendrick knows something about these parties. I do.
Trifecta, money, morals, and culture. That's my leisure.
In the second line, Kendrick says, trifecta, money, morals, and culture. That's my leisure. And again, this has nothing to do with Kendrick.
That's a fact. That part is a fact. When has Kendrick Lamar ever said money was his leisure, or money is something that he enjoys, or money is something that makes his life better? He's never said anything like that.
As he continues to rap as Drake here. First off, the definition of a trifecta pertains to gambling on horses, where to win, you need to guess the 3 winning horses in order. That means that in the case of this line, money would come first, morals would come second, and culture will be last. This is how we can easily rule Kendrick's own perspective out, as money is definitely not his first priority. Again, it's little things like this where it's clear to me that he's not rapping from his own perspective here.
Really, money really don't make me. I'm learning that now. You know, that's not really my my peace of mind, having money.
He's always said that. Kendrick has always said, he says that all the time.
Case of the line as it pertains to Drake, money is seemingly at the forefront of everything that he does. He's willing to put aside morals and culture to get it. This explains why morals and culture...
I need to look at that again. Being in the club with a Tupperware full of money.
He's willing to put aside...
Look at that shit. I just had to look at that for a minute.
Morals and culture to get it. This explains why morals and culture come in second and third place within the trifecta. At the end of the day, those two things will never really matter for Drake, as money will always dictate his every move regardless. So, I mean, when we look at a trifecta, by definition, like what it means, the line makes literally no sense pertaining to Kendrick.
My visa, passport tatted, I show up in a visa.
Once again, I'm not sure how this would ever pertain to Kendrick, as he never raps about shit like this, and there's no documented proof that he has ever been to Ibiza. Not only that, Ibiza is known as the party capital of Europe.
That's a fact. That don't even seem like a place that Kendrick would go to have fun. Or, and again, Kendrick is worldwide. He's an incredible artist. I don't think niggas in Ibiza are asking Kendrick to perform there. No disrespect to Kendrick. He's a worldwide artist. He could definitely go to Ibiza and perform if he wanted. But Ibiza is not a place where people want to hear To Pimp a Butterfly. That's just not the scene in Ibiza.
Which doesn't really seem to be a place that fits into his lifestyle. When we look at how Kendrick structured and set up this first verse, it only makes sense from Drake's perspective, as he was in Ibiza on that exact same yacht. And Drake has referenced Ibiza in his music many, many times.
Grab Lisa, bring her to Ibiza. Appealing Ibiza, so what? She took dick in Ibiza. We went to Ibiza.
And this whole infatuation with Ibiza, for Drake, this is new. He never talked about it before in his music. It's only these recent years where he's been bringing it up a lot. It's almost like Ibiza has become Drake's new favorite hub. And if you listen to how Kendrick enunciates this line, that's exactly what he says.
That's your hub in Ibiza, your hub in Ibiza.
And I don't know why Drake loves Ibiza so much, but maybe Kendrick does. And again, in very recent times, Drake referenced a tatted passport in his music.
My visa, passport tatted. I tatted your passport up.
So this all ties and flows perfectly together in reference to Drake and how he lives his life. And given the fact that Kendrick rapped from Drake's perspective on Buried Alive, and this track is called 616 in LA, which was the date that they first met and the concept of that record, Kendrick is doing the same here. And the concept of the Buried Alive track is just as important for Family Matters, which we are doing next.
Luke Cali's dwellings in Brooklyn just to book me some pizza.
Kendrick continues to replicate the subject matter that Drake showcases on these timestamp records. If you heard Drake say a line like this straight from his mouth, you wouldn't second guess it, as it fits perfectly into the style of his pen.
Eating like I'm seated at Swiss Soto and Yoso's. Catering is from Giorgio Bardi, Robin's favorite.
He nailed it. It is bang on how Drake raps on these tracks. Bang on.
Luke Cali's dwellings in Brooklyn just to book me some pizza.
It's just the way he enunciates shit is very cryptic. Like, he doesn't even say pizza. He says pizza.
Just to book me some pizza.
And book me some pizza is weird too. Like, there's shit in here that Drake is only going to get. And on Euphoria, remember, Kendrick said,
that's a fact. If you listen to Kendrick Lamar's albums, he pronounces words very clearly and very crisp. He says the whole word. He doesn't slur his words, or he doesn't stop short, or his words don't run into each other. You can hear everything that he's saying. On this song, it was different.
That he hates the way that Drake sneak disses people.
I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct.
And what Kendrick means by that is Drake will diss someone and only his intended target will pick up on it. And due to the fact that Kendrick is mirroring his style and writing from Drake's perspective, on a timestamp titled record.
If you need a example of that, it's 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. in Calabasas. The way that he's dissing Diddy, that's what he means. He's just saying little small things. He's right. This dude is right.
This first verse is riddled with shots at Drake that only he understands. And that's why the beginning of this record doesn't even sound like a diss, because
he did that to Joe Budden too. Drake did that to Joe Budden too. He says things about a dinner where he picked up the check for Joe Budden. Joe Budden spoke about it on his podcast. Nobody knew that until Joe spoke about it. Nobody knew he was talking about Joe Budden and Drake picking up the check. Only Joe Budden would know that.
Writing in the style of Drake. There's no clear shots to us, but he's dissing Drake the way that Drake disses. And because Drake has been at this pizzeria in Brooklyn before, this is just another clue that Kendrick has given us that he's writing this verse from Drake's perspective.
God, my confession is yours.
This is where I started my breakdown at. This is the bar where I start my breakdown, because before this, like I told y'all, I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what this nigga Kendrick was doing. Everything is making sense now, because like I said, even myself didn't touch that first part. I started here.
And now we get to the point where I feel Kendrick does indeed switch perspectives back to himself, as it's at this moment where he starts to sing. And when you think about Drake's timestamp records, he doesn't really sing on those tracks at all.
God, my confession is yours.
That's a fact. The whole mood changed once he starts singing. That was the part where I was like, okay, I understand this. The reason that I could understand this part is because this is Kendrick actually rapping like Kendrick. Before, I was confused until now. Maybe, possibly.
Now, I saw that people tried to paint this line as if Kendrick was conflicted on whether or not he should go to war with Drake, but honestly, Kendrick has wanted this battle with Drake for a very long time.
But who am I if I don't go to war?
I don't think he's conflicted about the war itself, but he knows where he's about to go with this thing, and he's more or less confessing to God before he even puts his plan into action. Kendrick knows he's about to go on attack, likely committing multiple sins, which will need forgiveness from God. If you pay attention to the way he delivers these lyrics, he's deliberately singing in a very ugly, offbeat, non-sonically pleasing way.
God, my confession.
This singing style reflects Kendrick's internal chaos. He's holding some guilt as a dark side of him is about to emerge. It's like he's saying, like, I'm sorry, God, like ahead of time. I'm sorry, but I gotta do this.
That's a fact. If y'all look at the Ken and Friends pop out, every performance, Kendrick is smiling and laughing. Look at him when he performs Not Like Us. He don't even look like he likes the song. He don't even look like he want to be performing the song. That makes sense.
There's opportunity when living with loss. I discover myself would not fall short.
Some people thought that this meant Kendrick was worried about losing to Drake, and if he did, he'd learn something from it. But I don't think Kendrick even considered the possibility of losing this battle. I mean, let's be real here.
I disagree with that part. I disagree with that part.
He had this whole thing mapped out. I believe even at this point, he knew he had a winning strategy. Like, he knew he was going to win this thing. I feel that Kendrick knows that he's about to unleash a beast that we haven't seen before, and he's hinting at an internal struggle. When you think about it, Kendrick doesn't have any music in his catalog that resembles the subject matter on these diss tracks. I think the loss that he's talking about is he's about to lose control of himself, right? He's about to go against everything he stands for. Like his.
That could be true. I don't agree. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it do make sense.
Faith However, being a man of God, he knows that the Lord will forgive him. And he knows that going through with this thing will offer an opportunity for even more growth.
Raise my hands to a fallen sky. I fantasize me jumping planets, immortalized. I correspond.
So a fallen sky is basically an aftermath of a disaster. And it's here where Kendrick is daydreaming about the results of the war. He dreams of jumping planets and becoming immortalized as he's fantasizing about how a victory over Drake would cement his name in the hip-hop history books. And Kendrick's a rapper's rapper. Like, he's a hip-hop guy.
I believe that. I believe Kendrick knew he was already right there. Obviously, great rapper, multiple Grammys, platinum albums. He got all the accolades. But beating Drake would take him to another level. That's a fact.
And a lot of our legends had beefs, right? So I'm sure he's thought about adding the beef to his resume. He had to. These thoughts are so strong for Kendrick that they overpower his own faith. And it's here where he really decides that he needs to go through with it. He truly confirms this when he says, I correspond, meaning he needs to fulfill this fantasy. So I feel like he's daydreaming about like destroying Drake and getting him out of here and how that'll feel. And then he snaps out of it. And he says to himself, I got to do this. I got to go through with it. I correspond.
3 angels watching me all the time.
Kendrick claims that he has 3 angels watching him. And for anyone who's familiar with Christianity, you will be well aware of Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. These are the 3 main angels chosen by God, and each angel represents something different. Given the fact that Kendrick knows he's about to embark on a journey that's testing his faith, he knows that these 3 angels are with him for guidance on the mission. And guys, he pretty much confirms this by bringing up some of these angels later on in the track. Outside of this biblical reference, in 2013, Kendrick lost 3 of his close friends, Chad, Pup, and Braids. He mentions these guys on multiple songs, but on a YG record, he makes reference to all 3 of them. From what I could gather, he was really close with all 3 of these young men. So it's very possible that the 3 angels is with them is these guys too.
Put my children to sleep with a prayer, then close my eyes. Definition of peace.
So coming off his Euphoria disc, Kendrick painted Drake as a deadbeat dad.
That's whole shit. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that.
Kendrick states that Drake is not instilling the same family values as he is. And in this line, he confirms that putting his kids to sleep with a prayer gives them 100% peace. This is all he seems to need. With Drake's kid, it's almost like he wants them to be just as famous as he is. Like almost like the Kardashians' kids or something, right? Where he's all.
I don't agree with that either. I feel like when Pusha did what he did, Drake didn't want people to think he was ashamed of his child. So he may have overcompensated a little bit by having him just everywhere. But I don't think that Drake wants Adonis to be famous necessarily. I mean, he wants him to be popular, or he wants him to have an identity of his own. Maybe he wants him to be in the public eye, but I don't think it comes from a bad place. I don't think he wants to use his son for fame. No.
Up in the interviews, he's in the music videos, he's all over social media. Whereas Kendrick, you're hard pressed to find even a photo of his kids. It's just 2 different parenting styles, we could say at a minimum.
Okay, man. Kendrick kids was on the front of his latest album. So come on now. Let's not do that. Kendrick's children were on the front of, I don't know, was it his latest? I think it was his latest album. His children, he's on the front of his album holding his child. So Kendrick puts his kids in front of the camera too. Maybe not as much as Drake, but I mean, your child being on the front of an album. I mean, Drake don't got an album with his child on the front.
I mean, who gon' stop me? I come from love.
Kendrick makes a reference to himself as he moves with love, strong morals, and integrity. And by living this way, he feels unstoppable. In contrast, as we heard on Euphoria, he doesn't feel like Drake has the same values at all. So in Kendrick's mind, this is like a battle of good versus evil.
Still cover my heart, then open me up.
So Kendrick refers to someone by the name of Estelle. Now, it's not 100% confirmed, but this appears to be his grandmother. And when claiming that she covers his heart, he's alluding to her offering him protection. And I really tried to confirm who she is in relation to Kendrick. I went through his family tree, or I tried to. Very private. Like Drake's family tree, you can trace back to the 1800s, but Kendrick's is on lock and key. Like there's nothing there. But when it comes to Estelle, he's mentioned her before.
Heartbroken when Estelle didn't say goodbye.
There's also the fact that during Coachella, he had her name on his custom boots, where it clearly reads Estelle Oliver. Estelle Oliver on his mother's side. So I believe this is his grandmother.
Remember when picked up a pen, lyrics that I can trust, timid soul, staring in the mirror, asking where I was from.
Kendrick appears to be reminiscing on a simpler time. When he first picked up the pen, he didn't have much to prove, but it also seems like he didn't have a lot of confidence. It suggested in the previous line that Estelle helped open him up, possibly helping him come out of his shell. And by all accounts, he was a very shy child, which really isn't that uncommon for these artsy type of kids. Like, they tend to be more withdrawn, right? And Kendrick himself once shared a story of just how shy he was. There was a math question that I knew the answer to, but I was too scared to say it. And then this little chick said the answer, and it was the right answer, my answer. That bothers me still to this day, being scared of failure. And from his past lyrics.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact. People in general, that's something that a lot of people can relate to when you're faced with something and whether it's a question or an issue or some type of problem, and you're scared to say how you feel, but you end up being in the right, but you missed that opportunity because you was just scared to fail. Yep, things like that, you don't forget. I agree with that.
We know that his grandmother had a huge impact on the entire family.
Ever since grandma died, everyone parted ways, argue on holidays.
He even said that all those Grammys that he won, when he won all those in a row, he said those are all at her house.
My 7 trophies is at my granny's in heaven's arms.
And he did say when she passed away, he was heartbroken.
Grandma said I get some Jordan for my grave. That's my baby. When she died, my heart broke 100 ways.
So when he was younger, it seems clear that this woman had a huge impact on his life.
I know this type of power has gone cost, but I live in circadian rhythms of a shooting star.
Kendrick recognizes that he's asking a lot from the Lord while on this journey. Earlier in the verse, we heard him dream about becoming immortalized. He understands that the type of power that God has blessed him with comes with a cost. And to me, this first part of the verse here has a lot of references to God and religion. And in terms of Christianity, a shooting star means that God is with you. He's guiding you. Now, as far as the circadian rhythm line, let's look at this piece by piece. A circadian rhythm is the internal process in the human body that regulates when you sleep and when you wake up, and it's all linked to the Earth's rotation. Now, a shooting star is a streak of light in the sky caused by a meteoroid burning up as it enters into the Earth's atmosphere. It's very fast, but a brilliant phenomenon. By combining these ideas, Kendrick could be suggesting that, like a shooting star, his life or moments in his life are intense but fast. Plenty of meteoroids remain in space, and only some are destined to enter the Earth's atmosphere and become shooting stars. Kendrick doesn't want to be another rock floating through space. He wants to make a lasting impact with his art, but he recognizes that he has a limited time on Earth to make this happen. He lives by his own rhythm, one that is unique compared to the typical predictable cycles most people experience. The life that he lives has intense, brilliant moments that stand out against the regular circadian rhythm. Coming off his previous line, this likely reflects his own impact on culture, where his presence is powerful and influential.
The mannerisms of Raphael, I can heal and give you art.
Coming off the last line, Kendrick dishes out a triple entendre. Firstly, he refers to Raphael Urbino, a famous Italian artist who is ironically one of the big three artists that is responsible for curating a style of European art called mannerism. Secondly, Kendrick is talking about Raphael the Angel, which was one of the three angels that was referenced earlier, and Raphael is known for being a protector and healer. Lastly, Kendrick pulls qualities from both Raphaels by 1, providing people with genuine art, in this case music, and 2, His music acts as therapy for a lot of people and helps to heal them. And of course, last but not least, and this one went over everyone's heads, Raphael the Ninja Turtle. I'm fucking with you guys. I made that one up. He's just my favorite turtle, so I took the opportunity to get him in there.
Nah, I was finna say, if this nigga tied the Ninja Turtles into this, nah, he the GOAT. If this nigga tied the Ninja Turtles into this, he's the GOAT.
How did they come up with this stuff? But the industry's cooked as I pick the carcass apart.
So I look at this line very different from everyone else, and I'm not saying I'm right, but just hear me out. Kendrick says that the industry is cooked, and what I think he means by this is that the industry is a facade. Record labels are cooking the books and inflating the numbers. These labels are desperate and will do anything to give the illusion that their product is in high demand. By picking the carcass apart, I feel Kendrick is alluding to exposing even more industry secrets, as we heard exactly how he felt about it on Euphoria.
And fuck the industry too.
And I think what I'm saying makes even more sense on the next line.
Yeah, somebody's lying. I can see the vibes on act. Even he looking compromised. Let's peel the layers back.
So many people have accused academics of being on Drake's payroll and being on the record label's payroll. Now, it's no secret that record labels have been working with influencers, podcasters, streamers, and TikTok dancers to help with sales. However, it's even beyond sales because some of these guys like Aiden Ross and Kai Cenat seriously have the power to shape how an artist is perceived. Drake is UMG's golden boy, and I feel like Kendrick is insinuating that much like how they cook the books for their artist, the industry is crooked and manipulative, and they'll throw as many resources at this thing as possible to protect Drake's name.
Let's peel the layers back.
It's here where Kendrick appears to be threatening to expose more of these secrets as he plans to peel the layers back, which is something that Pusha said to Drake during their beef.
We just gonna peel it back layer by layer.
Now, I've been watching academics from the very...
I forgot about that bar, because it's not even a bar. That was when Pusha start talking at the end. I forgot about that part.
Very beginning, and he's a well-documented Drake super fan. I think he just loves Drake. It's his favorite artist. I don't think he's paid off or anything. I just think he's a massive Drake fan.
He do. He just genuinely likes Drake. That's a fact.
Points will be in your chest, harassing Ant. Fucking with good people, make good people go to bed.
Kendrick makes reference to Drake's trolling antics from earlier on in the beef. Shortly after dropping the Push-Ups track, Drake decided to antagonize Kendrick's manager Ant by posting 2 pictures. Kendrick continues to paint Drake as the bad guy and bully in the situation by insinuating that Drake is picking easy targets. Ant is not a rapper and isn't known for causing issues with anyone, and because Kendrick is close with Ant, he's a good person to defend him. And remember on Euphoria, Kendrick said that he would inherit the beef for Pharrell, who, by all accounts, I believe is a pretty good dude.
Conspiracies about Cash Dog, that's not even the leak.
So, coming off the last line about messing with good people, Kendrick references Drake's bullying tactics against The Weeknd's manager Cash. A lot of people thought that Cash could have been the mole that was feeding Kendrick information, but he confirms here that this is not the source of the leak. But I think the line actually works in another way also. Conspiracies about Cash Dog also perfectly ties into Drake's claims about Kendrick and Top Dog, where Drake stated on Push-Ups that the label was extorting Kendrick and taking 50% of the profit.
Find the Jews like Cash Dog. I just need you to think.
Kendrick really starts to play with Drake's head as he's asking Drake to think a little bit harder about who the mole could be. He makes a reference to Cash Doll, who was once robbed for $500,000 in jewelry. It would make a lot more sense if we could find out that it was someone close to Cash Doll that took this jewelry. But in order to do that, someone would need to watch all of our interviews.
It was around the time I lost a whole jewelry box full of jewelry in LA. Somebody stole it from me.
Oh, I remember that. You went right. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and
we'll
it hurt. It hurted my. It hurt. It hurted.
Because you didn't lose it, somebody took it.
Yes,
somebody stole it. So that's somebody you trusted.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the items too, right? It's also about the people that you have around you. Because that's also a warning call.
So Kendrick has clearly been paying attention, and the fact that it was someone inner circle that had a hand in taking his jewelry, this line just gained even more depth.
Find the jewels like cash, dog. I just need you to think.
Tough line, man. You got to say, it is. Now, I don't want to feed too much into this Ebony Prince character from Twitter, but it is definitely interesting given the fact that he posted a bunch of jewelry and proof of receipts of alleged jewelry that Drake purchased. So, I mean, this could very well be in reference to all that. No one.
Well, I gotta disagree with that part. We spoke about Ebony Prince earlier, and see, he's not really getting deep into it. To the whole Ebony Prince thing. I think he is on the next video. But let me say this: if remember, he said he's gonna break down Family Matters. All right. Now I hope he breaks down the video as well, because at Family Matters, if y'all remember, at the end of the video, Drake shows a ring or some type of piece of jewelry around his neck. I believe that is the receipt, the jewelry receipt that Ebony Prince posted. All right, let's hear that again.
Close to Cash Doll that took this jewelry, but in order to do that, someone would need to watch all of her.
It's also about the people.
Tough line, man. You got to say, it is. Now, I don't want to feed too much into this Ebony Prince character from Twitter, but it is definitely interesting given the fact that he posted a bunch of jewelry and proof of receipts of alleged jewelry that Drake purchased. So, I mean, this could very well be in reference to all that.
No, I don't believe so. That's why Drake showed the necklace on his neck in the Family Matters video to say, nigga, Ebony Prince only got the receipts. Now, the receipts were real. The receipts for the jewelry was real. But did Ebony Prince have Drake's actual jewelry? No, I highly doubt it.
No one can confirm. It's all really weird.
Are you finally ready to play? Have you ever? Let's see.
Kendrick continues to turn up the heat and references his lyrics from Euphoria.
Have you ever played? Have you ever? Okay, nigga, let's play.
Now he really starts to mess with Drake's head.
Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me?
Kendrick cleverly attempts to make Drake question all those around him by suggesting that someone close to him is not really on his side.
Fake bully, I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it.
So pretty self-explanatory. Kendrick continues to paint Drake as the bad guy and implies that even his own team are preying on his downfall, claiming that he deserves everything that's coming.
Can't Tussie slide about it. This one is just gonna resurface.
Kendrick references Drake's #1 smash, Tussie Slide. This was a track that had everyone dancing during the summer of 2020, which is something that Drake is really good at doing.
Left foot up, right foot slide.
Now, Tussie Slide conveniently dropped just 3 months after a video surfaced of Drake where he's kissing a 17.
Man, I just said we wasn't going to watch this whole thing. We damn near don't watch the whole thing.
Year-old girl on stage. The clip took the internet by storm as Drake already had a past that raised a lot of eyebrows. And it was just 5 months before that where Drake paid $350K to a SA case, which was something that Kendrick referenced on Euphoria.
Have you ever paid $500,000 like to an open case?
These were big stories at the time. Like, a lot of people talked about this shit. It was not a good look for Drake, so he drops this massive hit. And of course, that helps deaden the noise, right? However, when it comes to this beef, Kendrick seems to be saying that even if Drake pumps out another big hit, the damage that he's about to inflict in this war will never be forgotten. No matter what Drake says or does, he's not going to get away from what Kendrick's about to do. I mean, this is probably true. Not Like Us was a #1 record. Look what he was saying on there. Like, Drake couldn't even get away from the Ghost Rider shit. Like, this new stuff's pretty heavy. Like, it's gonna be hard to shake.
It was fun until you start to put money in the streets. They lost money because they came back with no receipts.
Kendrick insinuates that Drake is paying people to find dirt on him. Now, Kendrick, who lives a very low-key and private life, claims that Drake wasted his money since there's no dirt to be found. And it's also clever because, you can't get your money back from a store without the receipt.
I'm sorry that I live a boring life. I love peace, but war ready if the world is ready to see you bleed.
Kendrick claims that the world is ready to see him take Drake's head off. And when we think about this beef, it seems like this was really the case. Kanye even said that all the rappers were excited to eliminate Drake, and everyone from the casual hip-hop fan to people that didn't even listen to the genre were chiming in to tear Drake down. I mean, it was at the point where people were hating on Drake and they didn't even know why. Like, they'd be like, I'm a fucking metalhead, but fuck Drake.
Right. I seen a lot of that. People who I knew for a fact didn't really listen to either of these guys was saying that Kendrick won, and they didn't fuck with Drake.
Elohim, KTW.
So the word Elohim can actually be found in the scripture of multiple religions. In Christianity, it can be found in the Old Testament, and in Judaism, it's used in the Hebrew Bible. However, in both religions, it's recognized as a word for God. Kendrick could be using this here as a word of common ground between the two religions to state that regardless of the faith, he is the God. And in the exact same context, he uses this word on Family Ties, which is a record that I always thought was full of shots at Drake.
The Elohim, the rebirth. Before you get to the Father, you gotta holler at me first, bitch.
Now, the KTW thing is cryptic as it gets. Like, I cannot figure it out. I look for days and days. None of the...
Okay, we got to end this here, man. I got to play Roblox with my son. Thank y'all for sticking around and watching. This is one of the longest lives that I've ever did. This is not done. I'm not through with the Kendrick and Drake. I'm going to have a whole series. This is just one part. Thank y'all for sticking around and tuning in. Urban Artificial Intelligence, strategic thinking media platform. Like, share, subscribe, and help the channel grow. I'm going to see y'all on the next one.